Yeah. Let me take you to a place where the newer you have resided. Remove you from the flesh where the righteous always collided. I don't believe in culture, we steady being misguided to lead you back to a place where you only see us divided. I'm only here to tell you nothing but truth. I don't care about the good you do, I study your fruits. And I don't think I'm over you, but let me take this time to answer. Since I believe in God, I'm held to a higher standard. A soldier with holy manners in the spiritual army. We all need discernment, cause the evil spirit is charming. God with me when I step out. I don't care about what you care about. My faith got me flexing, I might just win me a sandout. Rebuke the strongholds, I pray you get released. Forget money, cars, and clothes. I need love, joy, and peace. Woke up with a new ID. Yes, I've been transformed, so the patterns of this world, I really can't be conformed. And I say,
I done had my ups and downs, but I can see we gaining ground. Yeah, things are looking better now. The world around me living fast, and I'm no longer like my past. Yeah, things are looking better now. I once was blind, but now I see. I thank you for my new ID, God, yeah. Things are looking better now. Don't wanna be the same, I can't be stuck if I ain't froze. I pray that I stay focused till I walk the streets of gold.
We all have a testimony, but the Bible let us know that you can plant the seed, but only God can make it grow. So you gotta reach a place where God say it's time to grow. So if you still lacking faith, who fault is that? You let me know. Self-control is what I pray for. Have you prayed for that? Nah, you ain't prayed for that, cause you ain't came for that. You go to God for only money, you won't stay for that. Somebody lukewarm, I just can't be the same as that. That's lame in fact. Lord have mercy, forgive me for sounding churchy. I just wanna break the link to the chain to whatever cursed me. I done had fam set up and killed for no good reason. We don't wrestle flesh and blood, they operated by demons. I don't play the same music, I don't watch the same movies. I ain't drinking, I ain't smoking, I'm not doing what y'all doing. And finding out my purpose became more than a blessing. And nothing here was by force, I just never found it impressive. Look,
I done had my ups and downs, but I can see we gaining ground. Yeah, things are looking better now. The world around me living fast, and I'm no longer like my past. Yeah, things are looking better now. I once was blind, but now I see. I thank you for my new ID, God, yeah. Things are looking better now. Don't wanna be the same, I can't be stuck if I ain't froze. I pray that I stay focused till I walk the streets of gold. Whoa.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ARP in the morning. Grace and peace to each and every one of you guys, man. I appreciate you all pulling up on this fine Thursday morning. It is Friday Eve, the weekend right around the corner. Hey, things are looking better now. You hear me? That's one of my favorite songs right now, man. I've been bumping that like it's nobody's business. That's one of my favorite songs right there. Seriously, I hope you guys enjoyed that, man. It's phenomenal. Go check it out. Call him D. Song is called Better Now. Go check him out. The brother is phenomenal, man. He's on fire for the Lord. And I can appreciate that. Seriously, I can appreciate it. I appreciate you guys pulling up, man. You know, it was a late night for me last night. Those that pulled up, I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show last night. You know, we kept it a little light, a little different from, you know, what we would normally discuss, you know, throughout the day. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to continue to work on the format. We're going to work on, you know, the content and the topics and things of that nature. But the channel is a righteous perspective, right? Yes, we talk about what's going on in politics. We talk about what's going on, you know, in the America and what's trending. But I think we need to start also looking at, you know, maybe some other topics as well. And I wanted to address those, you know, starting in the evening show. Right now, the plan is to just do that once a week. Maybe we will add another, you know, as things start to pick up. We'll see. But the conversation got pretty heated, man, when we got on the conversations around relationships and people they got into Kevin Samuels. Thank you, Kiwan Lynette. And before you know it, man, we had a real battle, you know, going on in there between Crystal and Rolando, man. But it was an interesting conversation. But I do think, you know, there's not enough of those conversations being had around relationships centered around the word of God. I mean, yeah, we hear, a lot of the worldly talk around relationships. And obviously you got the women out there, looking for the 666, which I think is freaking ridiculous. And it's obviously extremely demonic, right? When you have this, but I think there needs to be more conversation around it, around relationships, but centered with the word of God and based on the word of God. I hope you guys enjoyed that yesterday, man. I thought it was phenomenal. And, for the first one, I thought it was pretty good. I wasn't for sure exactly how it was going to work. But I thought it went okay. Can it be better? I definitely think it can be better. I think our morning panel shows that we do on Fridays are phenomenal. And you guys seem to get a lot out of those. So my hopes is that, tackling some different issues, and going in, to down some different streets, some different avenues, hopefully, that will, touch and help somebody out there. So I hope you guys appreciated it, man. I definitely appreciated you guys, pulling up as well. I also need to figure out the time. I'm not for sure, and B, I'll have to get with you. I'm not for sure if 8:30 is the right time. Maybe we should do, maybe a 9 or 9:30, push it back a little bit. Because I know we got a lot of West Coast folks, mountain time and East Coast folks. So maybe we need to think about pushing the time back on, and instead of starting at 8:30, maybe we start at, 9:30, somewhere around in there. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll put a poll out there to kind of get an idea of what you guys think. But would pushing things back maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour, opposed to starting at 8:30, starting at maybe 9 or 9:30. Do you guys think that would be better? You could let me know in the chat, but you could also, I'll put a poll out there as well, just to kind of get a gauge and get an idea. We're here to serve you, man. This is about y'all. This isn't about me. It's about you all. I'm not here without you all. So, your opinion matters a lot. Thank you very much. Lorali Gottschalk, hopefully I pronounced that properly, for joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting what we're doing over here at ARP. I really appreciate you. And shout out to Sister LJ Taylor with the $5 super chat. Says, FU question. Interesting. Am I out of bounds wanting someone saved and not obese? I don't think you're out of bounds, especially when you say I want someone saved. And even, obese. I mean, what do you mean by obese? Are they, LJ, you gotta remind me of how old you are. Because, as we get into our 40s, we all, have a little bit of, we've all put on, a little bit of weight. I tell you this, when I got married, I was a slimmer dude. I was a much slimmer dude. And I married this country girl from Southern Maryland. And within about 2 years, this woman done put like 40 pounds on me. So much so that I was like, babe, I really appreciate what you're doing. I really do. The kids appreciate it. We appreciate it. But we got to cut back. Seriously. I done put on entirely too much weight. You know what I'm saying? You are loving me to death. So we had to cut back. And we had to, kind of figure out, healthier meals and things of that nature. And we've gotten better. I'm still not, where I'd like to be at, from a weight standpoint. But I'm also not, 25 anymore either. But yeah, when I got married, man, my wife, obviously she still cooks on a day-to-day basis, but man, we always had cakes and cookies, and she was always baking. And, when that stuff is in the house, man, you can't help but eat it, right? You can't help but eat it, so she was, she was doing what she was supposed to do, as a wife. But, and we were definitely indulgent and sometimes overindulgent. I just got to keep it real. Yeah. And I ended up, man, I put on, 40, probably 50 pounds, within about 2 years of being married. And they say that's a thing, right? That's a normal occurrence when that happens, if you're in a good situation anyway. Shout out to Malachi with the $2 super sticker. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you supporting the channel this morning. Thank you very much. But no, LJ, I don't see a problem with you saying, hey, I'd like someone that is saved, and I'd like someone that isn't obese. But don't hate on the dad bods. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're willing to work. And I would also say this. There are a lot of men out there that are jaded by the church, right? And it's not that they, don't have a belief, in God. It's not that they don't believe that, Jesus is Lord. I think there's, there's some churches out there that have, rubbed people the wrong way and turned a lot of brothers off. So I wouldn't discount anyone who will tell you like, hey, I have a belief, but I am a believer, but maybe I don't attend church like that because I haven't been able to find one that I thought was worthy, of my presence. I wouldn't turn down anyone along those lines. Now, on the flip side of that, I also, anybody that flat out tell you that they don't believe, they're atheists or something along those lines, I think we should be equally yoked in that manner. But I wouldn't turn down anyone that lets you know, like, hey, I'm a believer, but yeah, I'm not going to church, on a Sunday to Sunday basis. And here's why. And if the explanation, makes sense to you, I wouldn't turn that individual down, so that's just my 2 cents. I wasn't always like this. And, and even me over the years, I've been, somewhat jaded from some churches. I mean, where we go now, I think is really good. Where we go now, but it's a smaller situation as far as the church goes. I think right now, our membership right now we're probably under 30 people or so, somewhere in that. Yeah, probably under 30 people, that attend the church, in comparison to some of these, larger churches out there. But, you can see, the leadership isn't right. The folks, aren't really right. And I'm just one of those kind of people that I would rather not go than check the box to go and be around people that I'm just not interested in being around, or listening to someone that, doesn't seem to me, like they really believe, what they're quote unquote preaching. That's just me though, but that's just me. But I do appreciate the smaller church. And I would assume that it is growing, and I would assume that it's going to continue to grow. But, being there and understanding the foundation of it and seeing a direction, that it's going, it actually, has encouraged me a lot. But I wouldn't turn down, someone that's, not actively, involved or going to church, on a, week to week basis. That I wouldn't do. Just my opinion. Let me show some love to my folks in the chat. What's up, B? How you doing this morning, sisters? Good to see you. I like that. Greetings wise with the salute. I love it. Thank you very much, B. Appreciate you pulling up. What's up, Mark? How you doing this morning, brother? Shout out to my brother, Hunter. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Always comes through and helps to kick the show off with the Bible verse. This one comes out of Haggai chapter 2, verse 7. And it says, I will shake all nations, and what is desired by all nations will come, and I will fill this house with glory, says the Lord Almighty. Thank you very much, Hunter. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for pulling up, and I appreciate you pulling up last night as well, helping us to get the show kicked off properly. Thank you very much. What's up, Lori Oddison? Y'all make sure y'all follow her instructions and hit that daggone like button on the way in. Make sure you follow our instructions. What's up, Zephyr K9? How you doing this morning? We got Marcy Richards in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Look at that. It says she's thirsty for the scripture. Look at that. Hunter comes through. Thank you very much. What's up, Omega? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you. Grace and peace to you as well. What's up, Marla? How you doing this morning? It's good to see you. We got Donald Lovejoy in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. It's good to see you this morning. We got Melissa in the building. Shout out to you. Aloha to you, sister. Appreciate you staying up and hanging out with us this morning. Thank you very much. Who else we got up in here early? We got a lot of folks up in here early in the morning. What up, Toy Mafia? We got Chisaxi in the building. I think that's Larry Montgomery. YouTube's got to switch this back, man. This is ridiculous. They got to switch this. They got to switch it back. I don't know why they keep doing this. What's up, Ted? How you doing this morning, brother? Appreciate you pulling up. I believe that is Moses Call. Thank you very much. What's up, Aon? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. What's up, Hadassah? How you doing this morning? We got Nelly in the building. Shout out to you. What's up, Miss Katz? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. All right. Is that Pamela Townsend? Thank you very much for pulling up. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We got Margie Lopez in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hope all is well. What up, Cool Ramon? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. We got Angela Montgomery in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Sugar Shane in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Who else we got up in here early? All right. Got Jane Facto in the building. Shout out to you. Thank you very much for pulling up this morning. You know, I see LJ. I see Malachi. What's up, Steve? How's it going, man? Happy birthday to you, Steve. Y'all make sure y'all show Steve some love in the chat. Wish him a happy birthday. 64 years young today. Hey, we missed you on Tuesday. What happened to you? What happened to you? I thought you was going to pop in the chat. I didn't see you in there. I didn't see you in here. You know, after the Bills got beat down, I didn't see you, Steve. I've been waiting to see you. It's good. It's good to see you, man. But happy birthday to you, man. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hope you enjoy the day. Y'all make sure y'all show Steve some love, man. Make sure you enjoy the day, man. I hope you have a really, really solid birthday today, man. What's up, American Girl? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hope all is well. Papa died in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Delinda House in the building. Shout out to you. What's up, Ed? How you doing this morning? Mississippi in the building. Mississippi's doing some good things, man. They went from 50th to 6th in the nation in reading levels, man. Phenomenal work they're doing down there in Mississippi right now. What up, Luby Fishing? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right. We got Donna in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. AK Bauer in the building. What's going on with you? Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Reza? How's it going, man? Grace and peace to you, brother. It's good to see you, man. Milwaukee in the building. All right. We got Chisaxi joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Shout out to Beeline with the $10 super chat. Says, hi, it's my first time watching a live chat from Washington State. Shout out to you. Thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Y'all make sure y'all show them some love. Shout out to Beeline. Appreciate you. Make sure y'all show Beeline some love and properly welcome them, to ARP in the morning, man. Thank you very much for pulling up this morning. What up, Robert Dalton? How's it going this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you all pulling up this morning. What up, Cat Daddy? Lil Rock in the building. Appreciate you. Appreciate you all pulling up this morning. Thank you guys very much, man. Thank you all very much. We're going to get the show kicked off here in a quick second. All right. Shout out to Rhonda. Thank you very much for joining the ARP family. Rhonda Evans Zander. Thank you very much. I appreciate you supporting what we're doing over here. Thank you. And shout out to Philip Wynn as well for joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for supporting what we're doing over here at ARP family. I do not take it for granted, any of you guys, that, are, members and you guys really, really help us, over here. And it's encouraging that you guys support us, the way that you do on a month-to-month basis, man. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you. What up, Scott? Memphis in the building. All right now. M-Town. All right. What's up, Rolando? How's it going, man? It's good to see you this morning, brother. Rolando was out there giving folks the business last night. Crystal from Crystal Beyond Labels was ready to strangle this dude. Oh my goodness. That was interesting. That was an interesting conversation. Shout out to Rolando, man. Appreciate you pulling up last night, brother. Rolando added some value yesterday. He added a little bit of the, comedic element there, man. We got to put that man on stage. Oh, man. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Pretty funny. But thank you guys, man. You guys make sure y'all wish Steve a happy birthday. You know, he's an old young guy. We're not going to hold the fact that he's a Bills fan against him. We're not going to do that. Oh, man. But I appreciate you guys, man. Let's get the show started. Man, we're already 20 minutes in, man. I haven't even got started yet. This is crazy. But it is what it is, right? We're going to get things kicked off, man. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button. I appreciate everybody that has supported the channel thus far. Super chats and super thanks. I needed to set a goal, but I do want to, I depending on what time it is, when I wrap, I may open it up for call-ins today and give folks an opportunity to, call in and speak. Give me 1 second here. I want to create a poll real quick. I'm over here slacking. But yeah, we have 294 likes right now. We should definitely have more likes than that right now. We have 406 people up in here. Hit the daggone like button, man. It don't cost you anything. Doesn't cost you anything to hit the like button. All right. We're going to put this on an hour. Let's hit the call. All right. Sorry about that. All right. How do you pronounce this? Is it Amanu Noel? Hopefully I pronounced that properly. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, what up, Wise? God bless you and hope you're having a great day. I'm having a wonderful day, but to be honest with you, every day is a great day. I am extremely blessed. I am a blessed man. Seriously, I really am. And I'm not one of those folks just out here saying, oh man, I'm blessed. I kind of take people, sometimes I take people or catch people off guard because they ask me, hey, how's it going? I'm like, I'm blessed. They just kind of look at me like, huh? I'm just saying, every day's a great day. Every day. Seriously. I'm extremely blessed. I really am. Let's get the show started. Again, hit the like button, super chat, super thanks are greatly appreciated. And thank you guys for joining the ARP family, man. I really appreciate you all. We're going to get things going, and we got a lot to get into today. So, hey, we're going to be at it for a little bit. Shout out to, I missed it. Sorry about that. Shout out to William Williams. Wise and ARP are likable. Let's show it. Thank you, William Williams. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Let's get the show started.
That Senator Schumer should not be worried about a primary challenge from you?
All right.
No.
Let me jump in on this one. This is what
we're talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
This is what we're talking about.
You have a country that is falling apart. We had a housing crisis, a healthcare crisis, an education crisis, massive income and wealth inequality, a corrupt campaign finance system, and the media says, oh, you're going to run. What are you going to run for? Nobody cares. So run more towards
Nobody cares. It's the House Speaker and President Trump and the Vice President saying it.
All right.
Pardon?
Well, of course, they're saying it to deflect attention away from the real issue.
Exactly.
And here, let me tell you what the real issue is. Let's see if CNN talks about it. We're living in the richest country in the history of the world, right? All right, you tell me why we're the only nation not to guarantee health care to all people, the only nation not to guarantee paid family and medical leave, why we have a $7.25 an hour minimum wage, why we have 800,000 people sleeping out on the street, why we have a president who denies the reality of climate change, why we have oligarchs on top who have more and more power every day. Let's talk about that issue, not her own political future. She'll decide that.
I'm really not a fan of either one of those individuals. I'm not a fan of either one of those individuals, but we got to talk about it, man. We got to talk about it. We got a packed show today. I'm telling you, we got a packed show today. We got Supreme Court hearings, Supreme Court hearing arguments yesterday in a major voting rights case. We're going to get into that here in a second. But first, last night, CNN, they had AOC and Bernie Sanders in a town hall. It was a full 90 minutes of them laying out why Republicans are the villains, demanding long-term Obamacare subsidies, or else no deal is going to happen, in their opinion. In that exchange, on a potential Schumer primary challenge, AOC shut it down as desperate GOP's, folks are grasping, but she never ruled it out. She never ruled it out, and neither did Bernie. It was never ruled out. They just dodged the question with exasperation. Sanders pivoted to income inequality and climate, of course, because that's what they do. They are master deflectors. That's what they do. They get asked a question and they go, over the mountain and through the woods. They even laughed off working with Marjorie Taylor Greene, on healthcare. They have zero interest. These aren't real serious people, to be honest with you. And honestly, the people that continue to support this party and these individuals, I got to say that they aren't serious individuals either.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's your colleague over in the House. The way she frames this is she says Democrats created this mess, but Republicans don't have any solutions to fix the healthcare issue either. Is she someone that you could see yourself working with?
On what?
On the healthcare.
I mean, listen, I think people can talk a good game, but until they actually support policy that helps people, I'm not particularly interested. But if
there you have it. These people, man, it just really shows how dug in they are. They are unwilling to budge, even on shared ground. I mean, the contrast, it couldn't be more starker with what John Fetterman said on News Nation later on that day, calling out his own party's shutdown tactics as a losing bet, saying Democrats are handing Trump a win by dragging this out. Fetterman might be the only sane Democrat out there right now, to be honest with you.
Running the government is really what the Democratic Party wants to do. And I follow country, then party. And it's the wrong thing for the country in a period of chaos. I refuse to vote to shut our government down. I absolutely would love to have... I would love to have a conversation about extending the tax credits for health care. Absolutely. But I would remind everybody, too, this was designed by the Democratic Party to expire at the end of the year. This is not something taken by the Republicans. They were designed to expire.
So Senator John Fetterman's calling out his own party. It's not the first time that he's done it. I would assume it won't be the last time he does it, because again, he might be the only sane Democrat out there. And that's saying a lot, to be that's saying a lot. I mean, the bar is pretty daggone low. But he's the only one saying things that Democrats really don't want to hear. And what he said here, I mean, it's the core of the Democratic scam. They designed temporary programs to manufacture crisis later. The ACA subsidies were always meant to sunset. Always. They were not meant to be, permanent policy. But, it gave them the political ammo to scream, hey, look at these heartless Republicans. I mean, he's completely right here. And to his credit, he said it out loud, which we know most Democrats won't, even if some of them feel the exact same way. And not every Trump voter is a fascist or a Nazi. I'm not. I'm sure a lot of you guys aren't. And honestly, we should stop throwing around the Hitler comparisons, you know, like political confetti. John Fetterman, again, I don't know. I don't want to say he's the only sane one, but he's definitely the most fearless one out there.
Democrat in my family. I grew up in a conservative part of Pennsylvania, and I grew up and I know and I love people that voted for President Trump. But they are not fascists. They're not Nazis. They're not trying to destroy the Constitution and those things. And that's part of another thing. I refuse to call people Nazis or fascists, or I would never compare anybody to Hitler and those things. And now that kinds of extreme rhetoric is going to continue. We're going to be more likely in resulting in extreme kind of outcomes and political violence and doing all these kinds of things like Charlie Kirk. For me, all I could say is like, let people grieve. Give people the space. I'm not going to use that terrible thing and that Pasek assassination to make my argument and try to put out my views. It's like, my God, you know, he's a father that had his neck blown out by a bullet. And now people have forgotten. President Trump was in my state, was shot in the head. And if that would have, could you imagine where our nation would be if he was hit in the same way with Kirk? We really got to turn the temperature down. And we can agree to disagree on these kinds of things. But right now, shutting down the government, I just can't take it that.
Mike C., you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It is ridiculous that folks have to defend and say, hey, we're not the Nazi party. And Trump's nothing like Hitler. It's not even close. It's not even close. And good on Fetterman. Seriously. Good on Fetterman for being honest. Good on him. This was the messaging missing from the CNN town hall. So I got to give credit, you know, where credit is due. When a Democrat says, hey, let's turn down the temperature, in my opinion, it matters. Because when every disagreement becomes an existential crisis, you get rage, division, and even political violence. We've seen it. Fetterman reminded people, you know, of the Trump assassination attempt in Pennsylvania and urged everyone to let families grieve instead of turning a tragedy into talking points. That's basic civics. Honestly, it's just being basic, just being decent, a decent individual. You can disagree without destroying. Civil discourse is a good thing. Conservatives debate and move on. The far left treats dissent like heresy, hiding in echo chambers instead of engaging. And that's a lot of the problem with these people. They'll look at us and say, hey, look at them. They're disagreeing with somebody on the same side. The Republican Party is crumbling. The conservatives, they're not on the same page. No, we understand that, hey, we have the ability to think freely and we can disagree and still be on the same side. But we can do that. On the other side of the aisle, it's impossible to do that. As soon as you disagree with one point, they're canceling you. They're trying to ostracize you from the party. They're trying to kick you out. They're trying to primary you if you're in office. You guys got to see this, man, because the real moment happened when Fetterman asked if Vice President Harris could have brokered the recent Hamas hostage deal. He didn't dodge the question. You guys got to hear this, man.
Harris could have gotten a deal with Hamas?
Well, I mean, you know, you brought up a good point. I think I was the only Democrat early on to give President Trump credit for the peace deal. Why wouldn't you?
Do you think
that's
Harris could have gotten it?
Well, again, I don't know. She's not the president. But where I'm at right now, it's like, ask any of the hostages or their families. They think President Trump was a hero and he deserves, you know, the kind of deal for that thing. I think that was really a remarkable development.
Do you think Harris could have got him out?
No.
I think it's a silly question.
It's a what?
I think it's a silly question.
Wait. Do you agree that's a silly question?
That's why they're clapping. They're clapping because they.
Security. Right here.
I think the most important point is just realizing who did it, not hypothetically or anything. I'm saying it's like, here's what happened, and there are actual members of my party that have refused to even acknowledge that this was significant. You know, and that's for me where it's like, hey, you know, our politics might be different, but this was a significant development.
Okay.
And now also it's what Israel was able to accomplish. You know, they had to neutralize Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, and Iran. And also another thing, the Iranian nuclear facilities. I mean, like, I was the only Democrat that supported you.
Stephen A. Smith was just like, no. I think Stephen A. Smith at this point, the way the left and the Boule gatekeepers are trying to cancel him right now, I think Stephen A. is like, the hell with these people. I'm going to say whatever it is that I want to say. I don't care what you all have to say, because he understands that these people don't really care about America. They care about keeping black people on the Democratic plantation, and they care about serving their Democrat overlords. That's it. Stephen A., I think, is done. You know, I know, you know, he gets out there. He's the ultimate fence rider, right? He tells you I'm an independent, you know, but fiscally I'm conservative, but, you know, socially I'm liberal. He's the ultimate fence rider. But I think he's, with everything that's been going on over the past week, I covered it. I did a video on it, actually the past couple of days. I think that dude's done. He's like, the hell with these people. I don't care. And you know what? Kudos to him. And in reference to Fetterman, it's refreshing to see a politician skip all the daggone hypotheticals, because the real answer is this. Everybody in the chat, we all know Kamala couldn't have did this. She could not have brokered that deal. She couldn't have. She can't even run a garage sale, let alone negotiate with Hamas. Are you kidding me? We got a chance to witness Kamala Harris over the previous 4 years on the world stage. She not one time showcased herself as someone that could be president. Seriously. Not one time. And if anybody has any video that showcased Kamala Harris on the world stage looking presidential, please send it to me, because I covered a multitude of videos of her looking like a clown. She's not a serious person, not a serious politician. If she would have got in, she, in my opinion, would have been considered a Manchurian candidate. Nothing but a puppet. Seriously, nothing but a puppet. That's my opinion, though. That's my opinion. Some of you guys may disagree. I'm sure there's some of you guys in the sisterhood that are like, nah, a strong black woman can get it done. I mean, first off, Kamala's not black, but I disagree. I can't think of one time on the world stage where I watched her and I came away saying, she sounded actually presidential right there. In comparison to J.D. Vance, how many times have we witnessed J.D. Vance on the world stage come across and say, this dude's got a chance to be president? This dude's got a chance to be president. He showcased it the way he has showcased himself on the world stage. And he's had, at this point, at least 4 or 5 opportunities to do so. A few of them we've covered here on the channel. And I've watched him in other situations where I was like, that dude has a chance. That dude looked presidential. I can't think of one time when I watched Kamala Harris over the previous 4 years when she was on the world stage where she looked like a true bona fide leader. I can't think of one. And if any of you guys disagree and you have a clip, send it to me. I'd love to see it. And if you find one, hey, I'll take my words back. But I can't think of one. Seriously. I can't think of one. But in reference to Fetterman, you know, this is the lesson. This is a lesson for Democrats. You don't have to like the president. You don't have to like his tweets. but you should respect the results because results matter way more than vibes. Way more. Adults judge outcomes, not feelings. Adults judge outcomes, not feelings. And that's what's wrong with the Democrat Party. They're entirely too emotional. The entire side, most of them are extremely emotional. They can't take their feelings out of things. They hate Trump so much that they can't give the administration their flowers when they actually do a good thing. Seriously. Come on, man. All the adults in the room, even if you dislike someone, you can say, hey, man, that was still good. We gotta get to a point to where people are really just judging the outcomes and not, basing things on feelings. The political class knows this. They just pretend not to so they can keep feeding the outrage machine that's tearing the country apart. Fetterman exposed 3 features inside the modern Democrat Party. First, the class divide. Working class Democrats want safe streets, normal schools, and affordable groceries. The professional left, the NGOs, the media, DEI bureaucrats, they need constant moral panic to stay relevant. Those worlds don't just differ, they collide. Fetterman lives in the first and just revealed the second. The second thing is the cultural divide. For years, the left's power came from policing speech and pathologizing disagreement. It's silenced people. Fetterman's simple. Don't call people Nazis. Don't do it. That line right there blows up that entire narrative there. You can't have democracy if persuasion is treated like hate speech. He's opening a window for debate the left tried to close. And the third is the results gap. When your brand is empathy, but your record is chaos, crime, inflation, failing schools, you cling to emotion because outcomes don't lie. Trump forces a scoreboard. Once you start judging by results, the illusion shatters. And for conservatives, the move here, it's not mockery. It should be strategy. Don't dismiss Fetterman. Use the opening he gave. Make results the standard in every debate. Hey, do your policies reduce crime? Do your policies lower prices? Do your policies improve schools? He gave us the winning frame. Decency plus competence. The bottom line is this. Between the CNN town hall and Fetterman's Newsmax moment, it's clear the Democratic Party is cracking. The far left's rage politics are colliding with moderates who just want results. Because people like Fetterman understand his job is to produce results for his constituents out there in PA, which is something that Jasmine Crockett hadn't seemed to figure out yet. That her job is to represent the 700 some odd thousand people in Texas District 30. Your job isn't to be on podcast and whatever interview on mainstream media talking reckless. Charlemagne the other day said, hey, Stephen A needs to judge Jasmine Crockett by her policy. There's no policy to judge her off of. There's no policy coming from Jasmine Crockett. And to be honest with you, there's not a lot of policy coming from any of these people on the left. None of them. There's no real policy coming from them. They never have solutions. Everything is but Trump. Everything is orange man bad. Orange man bad. Republicans are Nazis, fascists. Trump's Hitler. That's all you get from these people. That's it. I want to read a couple super chats real quick. Thank you guys for supporting the channel this morning. All right. Shout out to, okay, $2 super chat says, it's Emmanuel, like a man you know well. Thanks. Oh, okay. A man you know well. Got it. Got it. That makes complete sense. Now when I see it, once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? Shout out to Melissa with the $10 super chat. Says, hey, Wise, the evening show was very good and engaging. My husband suggested a name for the evening show, Only Righteous Fans. Interesting. I'm gonna look into that. Shout out to Malachi with the $2 super chat. Says, Reverend Clay Evans, I'm blessed. Okay. All right. I think he's turning folks on to a song. Thank you, D. Surrey, for the $10 super chat. Says, hey, Wise, since I saved so much on that free like button, I figured I'd pass the savings on to you. Thank you very much, D. Surrey. I appreciate you supporting the channel this morning. Shout out to Malachi with the $5 super chat. Says, I'm with Arnold Schwarzenegger on the climate change. He says he wants Trump to focus on efficiently solving air pollution. I think there are ways. Okay. Okay. I mean, the reality of it is this when it comes to the climate situation. If we're not going to get China and we're not going to get India in line, it doesn't matter what we do here over in the States. And honestly, right now, we're one of the most environmentally friendly nations out there. One, I'm not saying but we are one. Now, can we be better? I think we can. But China and India, man, they're the problems on the planet. Shout out to Love is a 4-letter word with the $10 super chat. Says, I found your channel recently and appreciate your content. You are a hardworking man. God bless you, my brother in Christ. Jen, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the kind words as well. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Shout out to William Williams with the $5 super chat. Says, how would Kamala negotiate with Hamas, offer Sesame Street? They wouldn't negotiate with her. Last time I checked, Muslim men aren't interested in negotiating with women. That's not who they are and what they do. Shout out to Malachi with the $5 super chat. Says, Wise, the left has an agenda so big that I don't think we'll ever get to the point we want to get to. We just have to keep praying. Oh, I absolutely agree with that. Thank you very much. I agree with that. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, brother. And I appreciate you, Malachi, for the $2 super sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And before we keep the show going, I want to let you guys know that today's show is brought to you by our sponsor, Chapter. Now, you guys know Medicare annual enrollment is here. Started yesterday, October 15th. It will go through December 7th. So you guys already know what it means. The flood of mailers, the nonstop robocalls, everyone promising the best plan. But here's the truth. Medicare plans, they change every year. Some disappear entirely. If you don't review your coverage, you could lose your doctor or end up paying way more than you should. And that's where Chapter comes in. They're the only company that reviews every Medicare plan nationwide, making sure that you're the one, or you're on the one that truly fits you. On average, Chapter saves people about $1,100 a year. And the best part is fast, it's free, a quick 20-minute review, no pressure, no upselling. If you're already on the right plan, they'll tell you. If not, they'll help you switch. Simple as that. So don't wait till the deadline sneaks up on you. Make sure you reach out to Chapter today. Give them a call, 504-506-0860. That's 504-506-0860. Protect your health, protect your wallet, and get the peace of mind you deserve. Y'all go check out Chapter today. Give them a call. Thank you, Chapter, for sponsoring the show this morning. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button for me if you have not done so already. Hit that like button for me if you have not done so already. Next up, I want to talk about a major redistricting case that is back before the Supreme Court. And let me throw this out there real quick. Thank you for the $2 super chat. It says, hit the like button. Yes, hit that like button for me. Please do so. So I want to talk about the redistricting case that is back in front of the Supreme Court, because it is one that could reshape the Voting Rights Act and opened the door for Republicans to gain several congressional seats. The justices spent Wednesday revisiting Thornburg versus Gingles, 1986, which set the standard for deciding when minority voters are denied an equal chance to elect their preferred candidates. The media screaming that they're gutting the Voting Rights Act, but that's not really what's happening here. The real issue is the balance between two principles. Don't discriminate, but don't engineer elections by race either. Section 2 cases live in that tension, protecting minority voting power without turning race itself into the deciding factor. And this round focuses on Louisiana's map. It's been redrawn to include 2 majority Black districts. Republicans argue it leans too heavily on race, and the Trump administration agrees, calling it unconstitutional. But the moment everyone's talking about came from Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, you know, the DEI Supreme Court justice, whose questioning left a lot of people asking, did she really just say that? When I heard it, I couldn't believe it, but let's get into it.
I'm thinking of the fact that remedial action, absent discriminatory intent, is really not a new idea in the civil rights laws. And my kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory in effect because these folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system, right? They're disabled. In fact, we use the word disable in Milligan. We say that's a way in which you see that these processes are not equally open.
Did y'all hear this lady? Did y'all hear this woman who doesn't really know what a woman is? What we just listened to is that if they're not getting equal access, they're disabled somehow under the law. Think about that for a second. She's arguing Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act needs to treat unequal voting opportunities like a disability. She essentially compared being Black to being disabled. Basically saying that being Black is a disability. Something that requires special remedies, no time limit because discrimination's effects linger. She tagged up with Justice Elena Kagan and obviously Justice Sotomayor, pushing hard that race has to stay central. Sotomayor saying it's always part of redistricting, and Kagan stressing it's about the effects, not the intent, whatever that means. Whatever that means. But back to Justice Jackson. During one exchange, she started yelling at the council. I want you guys to see this, but do you not understand how racist what this lady just said? If you are Black, you are disabled. I reject that. I reject that. But that right there in itself lets you know everything that you need to know about these liberals and how they actually feel about Black people, and I would assume Hispanic people as well. You need their help because you don't know any better and you can't do anything for your daggone self. Think about that. Think about that. These people are sickening, man.
I understand why your answer to Justice Kagan's question about is this a compelling state interest is no. The answer is obviously yes, that you have an interest in remedying the effects of racial discrimination that we identify using this tool. Whether you go too far in your remedy is another issue, right?
Your Honor, I think step zero in all of these cases, it was certainly step zero in the Robinson litigation, is the plaintiffs came in and said, we want another majority black district.
I thought they came in and said, we are not receiving equal electoral opportunity because our votes are being diluted.
Which is the same way of saying we deserve a second
No,
majority
it's
black
not,
district.
because again, just trust me on this. The second electoral or second district is a remedy that one could offer for a problem that we've identified. And the whole Robinson litigation was about identifying the problem. Is this really happening? In many, many Section 2 cases, the court says, you're wrong, you're fine. There is not an electoral opportunity being denied to you, go away. In this case, the court said, I see. I'm looking at the factors. I appreciate what you're saying. You've proven that we have this problem. And so the next question is, how do we go about remedying it?
Justice Brown Jackson went all in on the idea that unequal voting access is a kind of permanent disability that needs endless remedies because the effects of past discrimination supposedly never fade. But think about that. It implies that black voters today can't compete on equal footing without special treatment or court-drawn districts forever. And then came her heated moment, snapping, essentially saying, the answer is yes, trust me. That's not legal reasoning. Trust me, bro. That's what you would call emotion filling a logical gap. It sounded less like a defense of justice and more like clinging to a precedent where race always wins out. And right after that came another gem from Janai Nelson of the NAACP, arguing that race-based districts are absolutely essential. You guys got to hear this, man. This is insane. What is wrong with these people?
That's right. And in the state of Louisiana, that analysis was conducted in the Nairn case. And it was clear that regardless of party, white Democrats were not voting for black candidates, whether they were Democrats or not. And we know that there is such a significant chasm between how black and white voters vote in Louisiana that there's no question that even if there is some correlation between race and party, that race is the driving factor.
Can you comment on the Solicitor General's suggestion?
Okay, so we need race-based districts because white Democrats weren't voting for black candidates back in the day. I got it. Forget voting for the most qualified candidate. Forget that. Who needs the most qualified candidate? Nah, we don't need that. But there is a dose of truth here. If you really listen to what she says, Democrats have racially segregated the county because they are unelectable with the broader majority of Americans. This exchange speaks to that. That's really what this exchange showcases. It shines a light on why Democrats truly want Americans to be this racially divided. But the more, how do I put it nicely? The more capable justices on the panel, well, they weren't letting any of this slide. Shout out to Justice Clarence Thomas, who's been questioning Section 2 almost since he joined the court in 1991. He took a blowtorch to the Voting Rights Act districts. He has long since, he has long seen race in districts as unconstitutional stereotyping. But I want you guys to listen to this brother in action, man. In my opinion, if you haven't read the autobiography of Justice Clarence Thomas, you should. Phenomenal read.
What role did Robinson play in the development of SB 8?
Justice Thomas, Robinson is the only reason SB 8 exists. We fought tooth and nail in the Robinson litigation itself in telling the courts that we did not think the Constitution permitted us to draw a second majority black district. As you know, under protest, we drew SB 8 because the threat was that the federal courts were going to do it if we didn't. And that's, I mean, I think that's the best way to conceive of why SB 8 exists. We would never pass SB 8 in the first instance without Robinson, Justice Thomas.
What were the findings in Robinson?
The finding by the Middle District in Robinson was that the plaintiffs in this case were likely to show a violation of Section 2, and the likely violation, and I'm using very broad terminology because I do not know what the underlying violation is. I can't articulate that for you, Justice Thomas, because I don't think anybody can. But I think the finding in the district court's mind in that case was that the likelihood of a Section 2 violation meant that a majority black district was required, a second one. And I think like that was the bottom line, and when our legislature saw that, we understood the marching order, and that's why you see SB 8 as it exists today.
Just briefly, what were the findings that led to that conclusion?
Well, Your Honor, running through the preconditions and the totality of the circumstances, I mean, I think the totality of the circumstances did most of the work for the Middle District in Robinson. Senate Factor 1, the official history of past discrimination, Justice Thomas, we can never outrun the bad era of poll taxes, of grandfather clauses, of literacy tests. I think we're always going to lose across the board on that kind of analysis, and that's what the Middle District in Robinson focused on, is how bad was Louisiana in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and, you know, add all that together, and at the end you have a vote dilution finding that I don't think is clearly articulable in the way that SFFA requires a finding of discrimination to be specified.
Hey, Clarence Thomas is the GOAT for a reason, in my opinion. I know you got a lot of folks out there, they don't like Clarence Thomas. They don't like him. But I am his fan and supporter. Seriously. Cut straight through the noise, pointing out that Louisiana's new black district only exists because courts forced race into the equation. Even the state solicitor general admitted they never would have drawn it that way without being told to. And Thomas exposed it for what it is: government mandated racial balancing, and it's not equity. It assumes all black voters think alike and need their own carved out space, stereotyping at its worst. And that's the bigger point that Thomas has made for decades. Real representation is earned, it's not engineered. It comes from persuasion, turnout, and leadership, not map manipulation. The court isn't erasing minority power, it's reminding everyone that race can't be a driving factor in democracy. Yes, the stakes are political. Maps shape power. I understand it. I think you guys understand that as well. But that's why the rhetoric sounds apocalyptic. When Democrats cry, end of democracy, what they really mean is we might lose seats. That's really what they mean. And let's be honest. Let's be honest about federalism. States are supposed to differ. The South votes differently than the coast, rural differently than urban areas. That's how a continental republic works. If you don't like your state's politics, organize, persuade, or move. That's democracy in motion right there. So why are Democrats panicking all of a sudden? Well, this part might actually explain it to you. I want you guys to see this.
So, you know, if you go back 6 months ago, you go back to April, Kate Baldwin, what were we looking at? Well, we were looking at the Democrats with a very clear shot of taking control of the U.S. House of Representatives, according to the CashApp prediction market odds. We saw them at an 83% chance. But those odds have gone plummeting down. Now we're talking about just a 63% chance, while the GOP's chances up like a rocket, up like gold, up from 17% to now a 37% chance. So we'll look like a pretty clear, likely Democratic win in the House come next year. Has become much closer to a toss-up at this point, although still slightly leaning Democratic.
What's changed? What do you think?
Okay, what has changed? Well, why don't we just take a look at the national picture first? Take a look at voters and how they're feeling about things. And we can take a look at the generic congressional ballot. And I want to take a look and compare it to 2017, 2018, right? Because that's sort of the baseline. That was, of course, the first Trump term. That was where Democrats were sort of keeping pace. You go back to April, look at the generic congressional ballot. What you see? You see +3 Democrats in 2025 in April. April. You see +3 Democrats back in April of 2017. Now jump over to this side of the screen. What happens? Well, the Democrats are no longer keeping pace with the pace that they were setting back in 2017, 2018. You look back in 2017, you saw that the Democrats had leaped up to an 8-point advantage. I remember covering this. I remember a lot of folks, including myself, saying, you know what, Republicans look pretty decent right now in terms of the fact that they had the House, they had the Senate, they had the presidency, but things were likely going to flip. And I was looking for the same signs this year. The bottom line is it hasn't happened, Kate Baldwin. It hasn't happened. Democrats have stayed basically steady. They have fallen off the pace. Democrats were way out ahead back in 2017 on the generic congressional ballot. And now we're basically looking at Democrats ahead. But again, they are so far in back of the pace that they set back there. And so I think what a lot of folks are seeing, folks like myself, are saying, wait a minute, given what we might be seeing in redistricting, is this +3 going to be enough, Kate Baldwin?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. One change from that cycle is also this mid-decade redistricting effort that we've been covering so much. Add that in, and what do you get?
Okay, so we add that, and we take a look at the national picture, but then we, of course, taking a look at the state legislators.
All righty. There you see it. You know, CNN's own data guru, Harry Enton, laying it out plain. Democrats' chances of flipping the House in 2026, you know, it was sitting at 83%, but not so fast, as Lee Corso would say back in the day, right? It's down to 63%, while Republicans are climbing from 17% to 33%. What was likely a Democrat win has turned into essentially, hey, almost a 50-50 chance now. You know, still tilting blue, but barely. And Enton, he pins it on polling trends echoing 2017 before Trump's first midterm and crucial redistricting. Now, speaking of redistricting, let's take a look at what at what that could mean for Democrats. We're going to continue to let this clip play.
Enough, Kate Baldwin?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. One change from that cycle is also this mid-decade redistricting effort that we've been covering so much. Add that in, and what do you get?
Okay, so we add that, and we take a look at the national picture, but then we, of course, taking a look at the state legislators, right? They are potentially changing things, and there are two things that are going on here. First off, net mid-decade redistricting gains. If both sides max out at this point, there are more Republican gains possible than Democratic gains. Yes, the Democrats might try to counter a Texas and a California, but you go along in the different states, and basically Democrats run out of room where Republicans are able to gain and gain and gain. If both sides max out, we're probably looking at a GOP gain of +7 House seats. That doesn't even take into account the potential gutting of the VRA that is right now going to be in front of the Supreme Court. If you add that in, you could be looking...
The Voting Rights Act.
What? Yes, exactly right. The Voting Rights Act. If you add that in, then you could be looking about adding 10, 12, 15, 17 on top of this 7 seats. So I think a lot of folks like myself are looking at this. We're seeing, hey, wait a minute. Those national polls are Democrats are not gaining the way that we expected. Then you add in the fact that the state legislators are adding potentially more GOP seats like they've already done down in Texas, like they've done in Missouri. And then you add in the potential gutting of the VRA. And all of a sudden, it becomes much more difficult for Democrats to gain, especially given that they are not keeping up with their 2017, 2018 pace.
And as you said, that also makes it difficult to compare it to past examples in history because this is such a different new landscape that we're looking at.
It's a different new landscape, and we're not quite sure how much Democrats will have to be ahead in the National House vote in order to gain control.
All right. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
Interesting stuff. Now, if the court sides with Louisiana, which it's looking like that's going to happen, it's looking like it. Republican states will be free to redraw maps without race, as the main factor. And that's exactly why Democrats are panicking. Those majority-minority districts that reliably send Democrats to Congress could shrink or disappear in general, shifting seats to the GOP across the South and beyond. That's the real fear here. Without race-based maps, that's a lot of the reason why you got folks, there's certain people out in South Carolina, but without these race-based maps, Democrats, as Kirsten said, they're cooked. They are. Democrats would have to compete on ideas. turnout, and broad appeal, not just rely on these engineered districts. A colorblind approach means fairer competition, and that threatens their built-in advantage. And for decades, they've treated voters as racial blacks instead of individuals. Justice Thomas exposed that flaw. Assuming all black voters think alike isn't representation, it's what you would call stereotyping. In a truly competitive system, parties have to earn votes, not gerrymander them. Parties have to earn votes. Candidates have to get out there and earn votes, not gerrymander them. And then when they get into office, they got to come through for their constituents, Jasmine Crockett. They got to come through. You can't just be out here because you feel like, hey, I'm in a district that they're going to vote me in no matter what because of the way the district is drawn up. For Republicans, this could lock in the House majority. For Democrats, it's a wake-up call. Focus on unity and results, not racial division. The party that tells us that the Republicans are racist sure love using race for everything, right? I'm telling you, you judge the tree by the fruit that it bears. Simple as that. Do not listen to the words. Do not listen to the words. Judge them by what they do. Now, I'm also a firm believer that when you let people talk long enough, they will, they'll show you who they are. They will. They'll show you who they are. But we got to judge you by your actions. We got to judge you by how effective are you when you do get an opportunity to sit in that seat in the House. How effective are you? This right here is really going to force people to go in there and do their job at a high level. And it puts people in a position where they understand, hey, I'm here, but I'm working for my constituents. We're going to keep it moving. Shout out to Chaos joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. I appreciate you supporting the channel. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And please remember to hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. Let's keep going because in other news, there's some trouble among the young Republicans. And I'm talking about the Young Republicans group chat that has gone completely viral. Excuse me. Mainstream media, especially, outlets like CNN and Politico, they're running wild with this one here. Twisting the story into something far bigger than what it actually is. And of course, Democrats are seizing on the moment to weaponize it against conservatives, calling it proof of systemic racism in the GOP. But as usual, there's a lot more to the story than what the media wants you to believe. Now, at the center of this controversy, there's a leaked group chat, out here. I want to pull this up for you guys because I want you all to see this. There is this leaked group here, just so you can see it. I want you guys to see it, and yes, when you look at these comments, if you take the time to read the comments, let me try to scroll a little bit so you can kind of see it here. When you look at the comments and you see it, I got to say it, hey, the comments, they're ignorant. They're childish. I don't approve. I don't approve at all. I don't approve at all. No question. But let's be honest here. The media, Democrats, they're not really condemning bad behavior though, right? They're really crafting a narrative. They want you to think that every Republican is racist because of a silly group chat, because of a silly group chat. They want you to believe that one dumb group chat defines an entire movement, an entire group of people. I mean, it's the same playbook every time with these folks. Amplify the worst, ignore the context, and paint conservatives as dangerous and extremists, right? That's really what it is. That's who they are. But you know what? We'll get into this. We'll get into that here in a quick second. Give me 1 second.
Jackie, thank you. New this morning, Senate Minority is calling out a slew of violent, anti-Semitic, and racist messages. They were reportedly sent by different leaders of young Republican chapters nationwide. Those leaked messages were posted by Politico and included hundreds of slurs, jokes about sexual assault, and the Holocaust.
And it's awful, it's revolting, it's disgusting, it's obnoxious. It's the kind of garbage the worst kinds of people say when they think no one is watching. If this report is accurate, every single Republican leader from President Trump on down ought to condemn these comments swiftly and unequivocally.
The board of the Young Republican National Federation has also released a statement reading in part, quote, "Those involved must immediately resign from all positions within their state and local Young Republican organizations."
Okay, I'm gonna get to Schumer's comments in a second, but first, let's be real about that political piece here. It's designed to trigger outrage. A few out of context screenshots turned sarcastic jokes from a private chat into proof of systemic hate. I mean, these weren't lawmakers plotting anything. You know, they were young adults being ignorant and silly and stupid online. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, it's not new, especially in today's world. Everything gets leaked and weaponized. Was it unprofessional? Absolutely. Should the young Republicans address it? Absolutely. But to claim it defines GOP's values, come on, man, cut it out. Cut it out. Mainstream media lives off division, and this story gives them the fuel, moral panic on demand. Meanwhile, the same pundits who ignored BLM riots and attempted, a Supreme Court assassination, are now pretending the GOP is collapsing. I mean, come on, man. Spare me, seriously. The truth is simple. Republicans are bad at PR. Democrats own the emotional game. That's the truth. They turn every story into a moral crisis and control narrative, while Republicans either freeze or overreact. Now, look at the contrast. Politico's leak got instant firings from the right. When Democrat Jay Jones' text leaked, his party closed ranks. And this dude stayed in the race, still in the race. That's the double standard J.D. Vance called out last night in his tweet. I want you guys to check out J.D. Vance's tweet here. He called it out. He called it out. That's the difference there. And the vice president, in my opinion, he nailed it. This is far worse than anything said in a college group chat amongst young people. And the guy who said it could become Virginia's attorney general. And he's absolutely right. The media hates it because it exposes their double standard. Republicans get shamed and purged over private jokes, while Democrats get a pass for open threats as long as they mumble, sorry. Look at the consequences, man. Young GOP staffers lose their jobs, and they deserve to lose those jobs, while Jay Jones stays in the race. The outrage isn't about principles. It's about protecting one side and punishing the other. Simple as that. Come on, StreamYard.
A scandal over text messages in which he, the Democrat, said that the GOP Speaker of the House of Delegates should get 2 bullets to the head for how he paid tribute to a former moderate Democratic lawmaker who died. He has apologized. Should he get out of the race?
Well, that's up to the people, the leaders in Virginia. They have said he has apologized. What I understand is they say that on balance, he's the better person to be attorney general. But that's up to them. But I wish there would be enough fuss of all the times that people have said they were going to put a bullet in my head right in public, in the public.
A scandal over text messages.
These people are full of it, man. They're full of it. They really are. They are full of it. To say the least, right? I mean, come on, man.
Senator, do you still support Jay Jones? You do. What do you think he should drop out of this race after those comments? I just answered your question. You have concerns about what you saw?
The comments are completely indefensible. I've known Jay Jones for 25 years, and those comments are very much out of character for him. So if I put the comments, which are clearly beyond the pale, against knowing this guy for 25 years, I'm still a supporter of Jay Jones. What do you think about it?
That's why folks just can't take these people seriously. Seriously. You just can't. But let's talk about this for a minute, because it's the perfect example, of the double standard that's so obvious here. Jay Jones, the Democratic nominee for Virginia Attorney General, sent these texts back in 2022 to a Republican delegate, Kerry Corner. In them, he fantasized about, shooting the House Speaker, Todd Gilbert, twice in the head and peeing on his grave. Despicable individual, man, to say the least. He even says he would take Gilbert's wife holding their dying children in her arms for him to finally move on gun policy. Basically wishing death on the guy's family to make a point. I mean, this is some horrifying stuff. And I'm not even exaggerating. I mean, this isn't some edgy humor or something along those lines. This is just straight up violent rhetoric from a guy who could be the next state or Virginia's top law enforcement officer. Republicans have been screaming for a minute for him to drop out. Trump himself even weighed in, calling it beyond disqualifying. And the race is tightening fast. That is happening. But this dude has a legit chance to win. When you look at it, it does say that, the race is neck and neck right now. The polling average, is it's getting close. It's getting close, following, this situation coming out. But I don't put anything past these people, to be honest with you. And when you think about the latest Decision Desk HQ average, when you think about that or you look at it, it has Jones and the GOP incumbent, Jason Miyares, tied at 46.4% each. Jones' own polls, it does show him up, though. It does show him up. But this entire situation here, it's already bleeding into, the governor race out there. It's already bleeding in there where Winsome Earl Sears, and Spanberger, she was asked straight out, point blank, if she, want that violence aimed at her kids. And Spanberger called it abhorrent, but left his fate to the voters, which feels like a dodge when your party's nominee is out here fantasizing about family assassinations. But I'm sure you guys seen the clip, but I still got to share it with you guys anyway. Let's check it out.
Violence. The question for you tonight is, were you aware of these messages before they were released publicly, and will you continue to endorse Jay Jones as the next Attorney General of Virginia? You have 60 seconds.
The comments that Jay Jones made are absolutely abhorrent. I denounced them when I learned of them, and I will denounce them every opportunity I get. As a mother, as a public servant, as a candidate for governor, I denounce them. And it is important that candidates always denounce violence on no matter which side of the aisle. Violence, violent rhetoric, we should always be focused and forceful in our denouncement of it.
Are you going to tell him to get his
importantly, my opponent unfortunately only denounces violence when her side is the target. I hope
like that,
into
Abigail.
the future she will endeavor to denounce violent rhetoric and violence no matter who the victim. And tonight, Lieutenant Governor Earl Sears, I will say, you routinely referred to me as your enemy.
Ms. Earl Sears, just please give her a chance to respond.
You routinely refer to me as your enemy. I'm not your enemy. You are not my enemy. We are political opponents, and tonight voters are here to listen to the policy differences that we have. So as we move forward, we must continue to set a good example for all of our children.
Thank you, Ms. Bamberger. I didn't hear an answer there on the endorsement issue, so I want to just make sure. Will you continue to endorse Jay Jones to be the next Attorney General of Virginia? And were you aware of these text messages before they released? You have 30 seconds.
In fact, it appears that it was those who released the text messages and held them for years. So the public was unaware who had knowledge of these text messages for many years. I learned of these text messages the day that they came out, and I denounced them as soon as I learned of them.
She denounces murder.
And importantly, at this point, as we move forward, the voters now have this information that was withheld for them,
You're running to
presumably for
Ms.
political reasons. But the voters now have the information, and it is up to voters to make an individual choice based on this information.
Here's where the hypocrisy sings, though. Oh, man. A few Democrats condemned Jones's violent text, right? A few did. But no one's demanding that he drops out. No party pressure, no calls to withdraw. Meanwhile, a few dumb jokes in a young Republican group or a young Republicans group chat led to firings, resignations, and wall-to-wall coverage branding the GOP as racist. I mean, Jones's words weren't jokes. They were threats. And he's still on the ballot, neck and neck in the polls. Now, here's my take. Republicans need to stop begging for approval from people who will never give it to them. You can condemn bad jokes without feeding the left's selective outrage machine. Two things can be true. Those messages, they were gross. They were ridiculous. And the media's fixation on them is pure optimism meant to bury a far worse story about a Democrat candidate's violent rhetoric. Voters are starting to see the double standard here, though. Who excuses political violence? Who enforces the law fairly? Who believes in one set of speech rules for everyone? On every count, the media Democratic complex fail. They fail. And the bottom line is this: if you want to be Attorney General, your words matter. Jones showed his instincts under pressure, and they're disqualifying. Private chats should be handled with maturity, not mob punishment. Hold everyone to the same standard, or stop pretending you actually care about norms. And if Democrats won't call out Jones, don't expect Republicans to dance for their narrative either. But there is hope on the horizon yet. And honestly, this is probably some of the most important news of the day, in my opinion, because what it can mean for future generations and our country going forward. I want you all to see this here. Give me 1 second. I want to upload this clip. Come on now.
Young Americans are leading a Christian revival across the country. Bible sales increasing over 40% since 2022. Religion app downloads surging nearly 80%. That increase since 2019. And Christian music Spotify streams up 50% from 2019. What do you think about this? This is awesome. This revival.
Amazing. It really is. It's such a cool thing to witness, honestly, being in the heart of Gen Z as a 23-year-old and seeing my generation come to know Jesus like in a way they never have before is such an encouraging thing to see. It feels like my generation is just, they're hungry for something real and something lasting to grab to. And so I think vulnerability has become a big thing in my generation. People just being honest about what they're going through, what they're facing in their life, the depression or anxiety they're walking through or their struggles. And I think people are just being so much more open about faith and the need that we have for it in our country.
When I saw those numbers, when I saw those numbers, Bible sales up 41%, faith-based app downloads up nearly 80%, Christian music streams up 50%, really hit. It really did. I've been on this journey, for quite some time at this point now, and making those adjustments to, the music, the type of movies, that I'm watching. And every now and again, I'm guilty of, old 80s, rated R movie. But, older movies, you really can't compare them to some of the newer stuff, right? But to see this and to know that there are young people looking for more, it really says something, about the state of our nation, the state of our young people, the damage that the previous administration did to the young people. In my opinion, this isn't a blip. This isn't a blip. I think this is a movement. This is a movement, especially, for our young people, man, but people in general. I think there are more people looking, searching, hungry for meaning, stability, and truth in a world that seems, chaotic. And, the word of God gives that. It does. It gives you something solid to hold on to when everything else feels shaky. It's a quiet pushback against the noise, a return to purpose and community, and it's good for us all. And speaking of faith making an impact, earlier this week, President Trump, awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Charlie Kirk, who would have turned 32 on Tuesday. Excuse me. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it, but, I do want to showcase it. And for the first time ever, a Christian cross was engraved on the Presidential Medal of Freedom, honoring Charlie Kirk's mission to advance the kingdom of Christ, or the body of Christ. His wife, Erica, shared the moment, and it was powerful and a reminder of, how one life lived boldly for faith can impact millions. The cross on that medal says it all. Kirk stood apologetically for biblical truth in a culture that often mocks it. He was just 31 when he was assassinated, yet in that short time, he built Turning Point USA into a movement that challenged young people to think deeply about their faith, about their freedom, and conviction. And that legacy is sparking a revival. In the Bible Belt, pastors report surging attendance since his death. At Foothills Church in Knoxville, Tennessee, Dr. Trenton Stewart says first-time guests jumped 65% that weekend. People showing up, opening Bibles, and seeking the same fire Charlie carried.
Think deeper. People resonated with his message because if you're a person of faith, you believed what he was teaching. There was a logical argument that he gave that was passionate, bold, biblically grounded. He was very good at reasoning with people. And he did that, and from what I always saw, he did that as calmly and as politely as you can. And so I think when people see someone who's innocent, someone who they resonated with their message, when they see that person killed essentially for their opinion, that just sparks something deep within our DNA. Why we saw so many people pick up a Bible, go to church, the first time ever, or maybe the first time in a long time. I know for us, we had the first week was like 65% increase in first-time guests. It was definitely felt.
There's certainly an unusual amount of support for Charlie's life and his message here in the Bible Belt, because it was a Bible-centered message that Charlie preached. And so I think we feel it especially here where the Bible is revered.
It's given me courage and made just really challenged me in the sense that, hey, what he said and some, much of what he taught on and shared is what I believe. And so there's just that reality that we are in a spiritual battle. There are people that they don't want to talk. They just want to do violence. I think that Charlie will be remembered by me. And
Inspirational, man. It's inspirational. But you can see his impact everywhere, right? Social media is full of stories. People in Florida buying their first Bible. Others finding peace after the rage of his assassination. It's like Charlie's passing woke up something in America. Sparking what pastors are calling a revival. People returning, to the faith, not from guilt, but from a genuine hunger of hope. And this moment matters. A foundation is being laid. Young people are building convictions that, will shape boardrooms, classrooms, and Congress tomorrow. Being a part of the body of Christ isn't about escaping the storm. It's not. It's about standing firm in it, armed with grace, truth, and love. And if this continues, I believe that we'll see a generation of leaders who value compassion over cancel culture, stewardship over greed, unity over division. Imagine our kids growing up in a country where, being a member of the kingdom, a member of a member of the body of Christ, isn't forgotten, but it's alive and well, where schools teach wonder as well as facts. Families talk about truth around the table. And hope is more than just a hashtag. And in my opinion, that is the legacy that Charlie Kirk has left behind. A faith that fights for the good, builds bridges, and changes lives. The revival that he started, in my opinion, is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. There are some really powerful things happening across our country right now. And honestly, for a long time, I think a lot of us, especially those of us that are middle age or older, we were looking at like, man, these young people, man, what is this nation going to be when it's left to them? So it's beautiful to see young men, 18 to 24, moving towards a conservative lifestyle. It's a beautiful thing of young people, 18 to 25, getting back into the word or getting into the word for the first time, attending church services, opening up their Bibles, attending Bible studies. It's a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. And I'm glad to see it, man. I really am. Shout out to, is that Black Goose? Pelosi, 85-year-old, retire and be a grandmother. She doesn't have any interest in doing that. Are you kidding? Shout out to Cynthia Bass Goodwin with the $2 super chat. Says, hallelujah. God bless y'all. Good morning. Thank you very much. Shout out to Christine Wynn. Love your content. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Christine, for the $2 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I want to open it up for a brief second. What time is it? 11 o'clock. Hopefully we won't go too long. We'll go until about 11:30-ish. We'll see how this works out this morning, but I do appreciate you all pulling up this morning. Where am I at? Give me 1 second here. I'm going to pin the link to the top here. We'll open it up for folks, if you'd like to call in, say something, speak to me. speak to the folks in the chat, if you're interested. I'd love to hear from you guys, man. Thank you guys so much for the super chats, super stickers. Thank you all for joining the ARP family. I really appreciate you all. I'm thankful and appreciative, of each and every one of you guys. I definitely don't take it for granted, at all. And thank you all for hitting that like button. And shout out to my folks on X. It looks like we have 75 people, watching the stream on X this morning. Shout out to you all, man. Thank you guys very much. I'm not exactly sure, how to communicate with you all in X, but if you are, following me, not following me on X, please make sure you do so. Would greatly appreciate it. I'm not super duper active on X, but I'm trying to, build the following over there. I think I'm like at 900 followers or something along those lines, somewhere in that range. I don't quite think I've hit 1,000 yet, but it'd be nice to hit the 1,000 mark. It would be, but I'm thankful. Yeah, I have 193 followers on X right now. Let me pull it up. We did get a comment from somebody. Yeah. We'll do that real quick. But thank you guys for pulling up this morning. Brother Malachi. What's up, Malachi? How you doing this morning, brother? How you doing?
Just dandy. Just in my first line of traffic here about to cross into Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
I can dig it.
fun.
Look at you, got the button up on today, man. Looking spiffy this morning.
Yep, under the impression of my coworker Emilio. He's probably the sharpest truck driver you'll ever see out here. So I'm still working on getting my black pants and my bow tie and everything, and then we'll be up to par with Emilio.
All right, now I like it. Mm-hmm. Hey, you should always be trying to dress for success, man. I appreciate it.
That's what I've been on, man. That's what I've been on. So upgrading into my work uniform, and I've been working some things in with my regular attire too. So yeah, I definitely believe in dress for success. About last year I was obsessed, and early this year I was obsessed with. I'm a 70s fan, but I was just obsessed with the old times just because of how much more deeply rooted we were spiritually. We cared for each other and ourselves, and I just looked at people, especially Americans, used to dress back in the day. I see old pictures from 50s, 60s, 70s. I'm like, man, I hope that my whole closet has these outfits one of these days.
I hear that.
So, but as far as what, though, man, it's been good tapping in this week. I was on and off a little bit last week because I was in Minneapolis. But with that said, had about 6 or 7 days off to experience different people like I always get to do in Chicago, Minneapolis, be away from home. And, of course, it was a lot different this time after, listening to you, listening to Anton, on a total different outlook of things. It really, and now every time I, see signs everywhere, and I saw a No Kings protest on a bridge when I was on the highway too. These people possibly just probably don't know everything that's going on. Said, and then of course my grandma too. So I tried talking to her about it because unfortunately she's suffering from the Trump derangement syndrome, and it doesn't matter, man. You just can't win. I'm just, everybody who's kind of in the middle like I am, I'm just giving them my righteous perspective, of course, given to me from the Lord. And, those who listen, and those who act on it, they act on it. Those who don't, well, we'll just see how it goes for you. But I'm just preparing for what's yet to come because anything can go either direction right now. So, yeah, just trying to be prepared for, what may happen in 2030, and just keep everybody as aware as I can while serving the Lord. So, yeah, definitely happy with what you got going on in this channel. Definitely helps out a lot.
Well, when you get an opportunity to disciple anyone, you just never know, who the Lord will, send your way or cross your path, right? You just never know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, we think about it and say, well, if I ever get the opportunity, I will. But the key question is, are you prepared? Are you prepared to have those conversations, and are you prepared to, point people, in the right direction? I think there are a lot of people out there that are, they're yearning, they're looking, but they don't know the first step. They don't know where to go. A lot of people, I got a Bible. Okay, how do I start reading it? Where do I go? I start at Genesis? Do I start, in the New Testament? Where do I go? How do I start this? And unfortunately, you don't have, a lot of pastors out there who, if a stranger just reaches out and calls and says, "Hey, I'm I have some questions. I feel a calling, but I have some questions." And unfortunately, we don't have enough pastors, that will, return that phone call, that will take some time to go and sit down and meet with these people and meet them where they are. I think more of us, we need to not look at ourselves as Pharisees, like, hey, I'm holier than thou. I got it all figured out. I read my Bible every day. I pray every day. I go to church Sunday, and I go to Bible study on Wednesday, and I'm in the corporate prayer, on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever that is, with whoever it is that you worship with. I think more of us, we got to think about when the Lord sends someone your way, and you get an opportunity to share the faith with them and share the good news with them. Are you prepared to do so? And
I'm glad you mentioned that too.
Are you willing to do so? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not only do you need to be prepared, but you also need to be willing.
That's right.
Right.
Yep. And, be bold. And that's another thing. Yeah. And, you just reminded me that when I visited the Mall of America, I think it was my first night. I was just over there seeing what good stuff there was to eat, and seeing what all the stores had and everything, because, no mall's thriving like Mall of America. Then I also I was actively looking for people to see, hey, what's this group doing over here? What are they doing over here? All of a sudden, I wasn't even about 30 steps in the mall, and all of a sudden these three people just walked up to me, and two of them were a married couple with a particular church in Minneapolis, and then there was one person that they already spoke to that was just going along with them because they liked what they were doing. And yeah, they were disciples. They were just going around the mall. They didn't even have the scriptures or anything. One had a notepad, the other had a notepad, and we're just taking notes based off the response they got. And all they were there to do was just remind everybody of their identity in Christ. And I commended them greatly because they're making a great impact, especially in the Mall of America, where a lot of those certain people shop. So yeah, that was a blessing. That was probably the biggest blessing of the whole trip. Honestly, I didn't expect that to happen.
I can dig it. That's awesome, man.
But and then this one thing I was just thinking about as I was listening to the show. Everybody's freaking out about Trump cutting all of this extra funding going to certain organizations that were supposedly feeding the most vulnerable. Well, not only are they overlooking the fact that there's a lot of fraudulent activity going on, but at the same time, most of the people that are in my circle are so-called Christians. And I say so-called Christians because a lot of them are liberal Christians. And it got me wondering, I'm not going to ask because I've already had enough eargasms with arguing with people. But I want to ask so bad, how many of y'all are actually going out there and helping feed the hungry, those people that are on the street corners, especially in extreme conditions? How many of you are doing what I'm doing, going around the corner and getting them a bag of Wendy's? That's what I do because some of them, especially in Springfield, Illinois, a lot of them are on drugs. So my way to counteract that is I get them some cold water, sometimes a little extra tasty drink, and then a bag of food, some salad from the pilot truck stop if I'm out here. That way I know for sure that they're going to eat. I'm not going to, go buy something they don't need. But how many of you guys are actually doing that and not just relying on the Democrats to feed these people?
Yeah.
Something to think about. Something big to think about.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you
But
pulling
yeah,
up,
I didn't
Malachi.
have much. Yeah, I didn't have much to say. So I appreciate you having me on, and then shout out to everybody in the chat. I know y'all are in there. I just can't see you. So
Yeah,
y'all
you got a
stay prayed up as
down there.
always.
You got a fan club down there, Malachi.
Yeah, thank you, Wise.
You're gonna be
You have a
wondering,
good weekend, man.
are you single?
Yep.
Single?
Yep, I'm
Hey,
single in
Malachi's
Central
single,
Illinois.
ladies. He's single.
Single in Bloomington, Illinois. Yep, I'll be there on the weekends.
All right,
Y'all
Malachi.
stay blessed,
God bless
man.
you, brother,
It's
man.
good to be with you.
Yes, sir. Stay safe out there, brother.
Yep, always.
All righty, man. Take care.
Yep, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, let me bring Empowered Lens in the building. What's going on, sister? How you doing this morning?
I am well. Let me tell you, thank God for you.
Oh, thank you.
God for you. I'm not much. Listen, I'm on break for a moment, well, for a day or two for work, and I came across your channel, and I'm like, oh, that is just what the doctor ordered. Like an intelligent person with a brain, this is himself, and it's not programmed. I tell you, it has been such a blessing. And I really appreciate your content. I'm so glad I just came across it when I got here. I'm about to cook you with a super chat. I gotta bless my brother. But listen, I am just so amazed right now. Traditionally, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but traditionally, I'm not sure about your background, but I think pretty much, raised a Democrat. And then, once I had a family and got a home, I just had some concerns. And, I reached out to some people, but, I end up not hearing from them. And so then I started reaching out to some other people, and the people that I reached out to, they were involved in my community, but they were some, Republicans. And to be honest with you, that's when I started becoming more of a moderate person at that point, because that's who I started hearing from. So I no longer consider myself, on the left. I'm certainly not, I guess, with the right or probably in the middle. I cannot really believe right now what this party is pulling and why they think like it's going to make life any better for them politically. Um, this has completely become a circus. I am appalled at the behavior at this point, but I really want to just say that I do commend Fetterman for coming out. And I hope I get his representative or senator. I think it's a senator, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really commend him for being strong enough to come out and say what is right. Like, how y'all think the hospitals feel about being home right now? Like, I'm quite sure they're happy
Oh, I'm sure they're ecstatic, and their families.
and their families and their loved ones, and I'm quite sure that they're happy. I can imagine. Like, I can't imagine. And I don't understand why we just can't say as a people, as a country, hey, this is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is wrong with giving people credit for what they accomplished, especially if they did it for somebody else? It may not, we're not crazy. It's not overkill, but it was a good, future right there to hear someone in that party to come out and say, look, what we're doing is not okay. We should be glad these people are at home. And I'm glad that he was broken up to do that. So shout out to you. God bless you. And again, to get up here so the chat will be open so I can give you a little bit of the chat. Thank you so much. And keep doing.
Thank you.
And
Thank
God
you. I
bless
appreciate
you.
you. I got a
bless
question for you before you leave.
you.
If Kamala would have won, do you think that she would have been able to pull off what the president and this administration, just accomplished?
I would have to say absolutely, positively no.
Why would you say that?
Well, I just have to go on her behavior. I think she would have, okay, she spent a lot of time focusing on non-issues and not just that, based on her behavior on the world stage or even in the country. She seemed to be somewhat of a deflector. She seemed not to be able to just really articulate not just country issues, but even world issues. I just don't think she would have been able to do that because I think she would have been too ill-equipped and too ill-informed to pull it off. That's just me.
I agree. You get no pushback from me on that one. Well, I appreciate you pulling up. I thank you for supporting the channel, supporting what we're doing over here. I thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure the sisterhood, they're on you now. They like, I know who she is now.
I would love to get hooked up real. With love. With love and kindness. With love and kindness. Come on over.
I hear that. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. God bless you, sister. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. I love seeing that. Thank you guys, man. Shout out to Malachi, and this sister that just pulled up. I definitely appreciate it. I guess it looks like we're not going to get anybody else to pull up this morning. Is that what it is? Somebody will. I know it. I know it. What's up, Perry? Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the compliment, man. I get some people that's like, you need to cut the beard off. You'd look so much better. But I got to tell you, man, I have a beautiful woman on my team, and she likes the beard. So wifey likes the beard, she gets the beard. Simple as that. Simple as that. Wifey loves the beard, she gets the beard. So, hey. We got to do things that we got to do what we have to do to make sure, that we're staying, aesthetically pleasing, to our significant others. We got to do that. Simple as that. Seriously, wifey likes the beard. She actually, I can't even say loves the beard. And there was one time I shaved everything off. And she started calling me Reginald. I don't know. I don't know why. I never did that again, though. That was the last time that I shaved all my facial hair off. And when I say all, I mean all. All of this. I had no mustache, nothing. And yeah, she started calling me Reginald. Even the kids were looking at me crazy. The kids were a lot younger, when I did it. But they were looking at me crazy. But there are some people out there that's like, man, you need to lose the beard. If you lose the beard, it'd be so much better. But, I can't worry about them, man. I can't worry about them. Wifey loves the beard, so, hey, it's here to stay. And I guess until I can't grow it anymore. Sugar Shane says, I only grow my beard out for the winter. It's cold in the Midwest. Yeah, I can understand that. We're about to go into November. I think a lot of times, Mo River, people, people, tend to grow them out. Mike C says your X profile looks completely different than how you look now. Yeah, that picture is on the older side of things. That picture's from a while back. And that was at a time, actually, that picture is from, I was in corporate America at that time. So, I kept a beard, but I didn't let it grow out like this. I would just kind of keep it tight, to the face. And if you notice, it was all black at that time. So that picture's from a little bit, a little ways ago, a little time back. I just hadn't changed it and updated it. Shout out to Empowered Lens. Thank you very much, sister. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Coming through with the $10 super chat. Says, keep this up and be blessed. Come over the Empowered Lens. Stay blessed. And yes, listen to the wife. Thank you, Empowered Lens. I'm going to come check you out. Over there. But yeah, and it's the feeling is mutual, right? There are certain things, when we got together, that I like, about her, hair wise and things of that nature that she does, because I like it. I'm not into, the wigs and all that foolishness. I'm not into that. I like women with natural hair. And, if any of you guys have seen, a picture of my wife, I think one day we'll have to get her on here. I'll get her on here and let her interview me, or maybe I'll interview her about me, just so you guys get a chance to meet her. I don't know if she will do it. I'm almost for certain she would if I asked, but I'm almost for certain, she would if I asked her to. But she lives a good life though. She sleeps in. She doesn't get up this early. Well, she might be up now, but. Hopefully I'll get her on and then I'll interview her about me, and you guys get a chance to meet wifey. She's a good person. That's my girl. And I do suggest, hey, be friends first. I mean, we were friends for probably a year and a half before we even attempted to date or anything along those lines. And then because of that, it's like, man, we were really cool. And now, we spend a lot of time laughing, joking. It's a good situation. That's why I say, hey, life is good, man. I am extremely blessed. Extremely blessed. Quincy said, I want to know more about the dog. Oh, you want to, Shakir Aloysius. Hey, he comes downstairs like a bowling ball. Oh my goodness. Spaces said, I recommend keeping wifey off the internet. Nah, she already on the internet, but she ain't like that though. We doing all right. But I tell people all the time, I'm like, yo, I'm super blessed. Every day's a great day and I'm extremely blessed. Extremely, Cool Ramon said, Aloysius. Yeah, Aloysius. And it's actually spelled Alowishous. Yeah, Shakir Aloysius. Sir Shakir Aloysius. That's his name. So when he goes to the vet and his full name is written up there on the board, people are like, Sir Shakir Aloysius. Yeah, that's him. That's my guy, man. We got him before the pandemic, and we got him at like 6 weeks. So we got him when he was a baby. And he's been with us ever since, man. He's my third son, essentially. That's my third son. And he's a mess and a half. For real. But all right, I guess we don't have anybody else that wants to pull up this morning, and that's all good. We'll have to, I'll just see if I can get Kier on here, one day. We'll see if he'll sit still enough, to get on here. He has made a few appearances here and there. When he gets real needy, he's made a few appearances. Mike C said, I won't even try to spell that. Spell that out. Hey, Spaces, I got your email and I got you on the roster. So next week, when I do the next evening panel I do, we'll definitely get you on. I'll shoot you a message. Yeah, you sent the where you sent that email to. I don't get those emails. That actually goes to my the agency that I work with on the brand deal. So I have a little agent and he handles that type of stuff. So and he didn't forward it over to me. So hey, it is what it is. But I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning. I hope you guys enjoyed the show this morning. Thank you all for supporting the channel financially. I really appreciate you all. I appreciate you guys supporting what we're doing over here at ARP. Thank you To all my ARP family members, thank you guys very much for supporting the channel. I really, really appreciate you all supporting us. And, I don't take it for granted at all. And shout out to all my blues. I appreciate you all. B, Lori Addison, Zephyr K9, Dion, LJ, Brett Montgomery, T.A. Caskey. Thank you guys, very much for supporting the channel. Queen Bee's Art Hive. Thank you guys very much for supporting me and keeping things peaceful in the chat. I really appreciate you all. Enjoy the day. It's Thursday Eve. The weekend is right around the corner. Obviously, y'all know what time it is tomorrow. Panel show day. So be prepared. Hopefully it will be a good show. Actually, I can't even say hopefully. It's always a good show. We're going to have Minister Danzel. We're going to have a Sister Crystal from Crystal Beyond Labels. A few others, that's pulling up as well. And we're going to get ready to get up out of here. You know what? I got C Cook right here. Let me see what's going on with C Cook. What's up, C Cook? See, I was getting ready to leave.
Oh, I know. And I thought, well, I better brush my hair first. And I was debating because I came in so late on what the subjects were. But I thought I had to make a correction on something that I posted.
Okay.
And that was the Ezekiel passage. And I think I put 22 instead of the right one. So I just had I trying to get my Bible out so I could fix it. But anyway, I guess it's probably, I'm sorry. Give me a second because it's just so powerful because I'm seeing what's going on in the world through the lens of the Bible, and what we're experiencing really isn't new in some ways. It may be new to our nation, but in Ezekiel, forgive me, wasn't fast enough here. But it was really, really an amazing passage. And I'm almost there. And a lot of it had to do with going to the god, of Baal, and the sacrifices and things like that. And, well, you know what? I may just blow it here. I tried to find it and correct it in the chat, but my chat was gone. So I went, oh well, to edit it. But I'm sorry, everyone. Anyway, I guess I can't find it right now, but I just wanted to apologize if any of you remember that chat. Just change the chat the chapter number, but the verse was right. But I've been watching. I don't know if you guys have ever watched. Been listening to the Rabbi Khan and his information, and that led me to watch the Dinesh Suja footage on Israel. And that's kind of where I came across this information and just went, wow, that's amazing. So I won't take any more of your time, but I do apologize for that error. And if I find it again, I will try to put it in the chat, because it was so powerful, that whole chapter. It's like talking about Jezebel, and it's just like, wow, that's our nation. So we're a Jezebel in a way.
Oh, there's a lot of Jezebel spirit, running around, not just the country, but around the world, but definitely, in our nation.
Right.
It's a lot of it, for sure.
Yeah, and I think we're just, our nation is kind of sold out to that spirit, and and it's up to us to stand up and get involved, like Brother Malachi said, and just even on a small scale, makes a little difference in a person's life. And I gave a complete stranger a ride across town, and because I felt it was the right thing to do, but he kept wanting more. He says, "You got money? You got money? You got money?" And nope. This is your gift, this is your ride, But maybe it'll stick with them. I don't know. And it was risky. And that's the hard part that I find is putting yourself out there. It can be scary, but am I
You're absolutely
trusting
right.
God to protect me? And
Mhm.
just saying, because our church is in a it's small, it's a plant, and it's in a really scary neighbor of Salt Lake, and we have homeless coming by and all the time, and it's like, how do you treat them? Good morning. Here's a bottle of water. Like Malachi, I think, mentioned that. So putting yourself out, but do I believe God can protect me? And there are times I fail at that. I'm like, I don't know. But when my husband's with me, I feel better about it.
You feel a
But
lot
yeah,
better. Well, he's your protector,
yeah,
right?
right.
You
He's
know.
Army. Go Army. Sorry.
Hey, it's all
My,
good. I'm not gonna hold it. I'm not gonna hold it against him or you.
yeah. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. My dad and my grandfather were in the Navy, so I always wanted to do that, but I didn't. Back in the day, they didn't have much for women to do. So,
Hmm.
you know, I'll tell you this real quick because it might make y'all laugh, but um, the only thing that I saw in their options was packing parachutes. I says, "Oh, I could do that. That'd be really cool." And then I read the line, "But you got to jump with your own pack." And I went, "I'm going to college."
I don't blame you for that one. I'm not jumping out a perfectly fine airplane. I'm just not doing it. One of
Well,
my
not.
friends, he went through airborne training, and I was like, dude, how and why? He's like, hey man, it just yeah, he was in the army. He's like, hey man, you just
Do
hope
it.
for the best.
Yeah,
He did
that's
live. He's still alive, but I wouldn't do it. That's even on the ship when we did they did swim qual on our ship. We're out in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And they're like, "Hey, we're doing a swim call. You're going to jump off the ship into the ocean." I'm like, "No. The only way I'm jumping off this ship is if it's going down. I'm not just jumping out in the middle of the ocean for the sake of jumping out in the middle of the ocean. I'm just not doing it. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you."
I'll just leave you with this. Ironically, my husband was paratrooper with the army, so yeah, I'm like, uh-uh.
Oh,
That's just
he's a bad
ironic.
dude. Paratrooper in the
Yeah.
army. He's got plenty of jumps under his belt.
Yes, he actually got dragged 100 feet
Oh
yards,
wow.
and he lived to talk about it. So God's provision. You know,
Hmm.
God said you have to live
Now,
long
how is
enough.
he? Does he walk fine? Because I know a lot of those guys, they do a lot of jumps. They tend to have, knee issues, back issues, things of that nature from those jumps. Is he still, fairly healthy?
Not now. It's caught up to him.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
It seems to catch up to a lot of guys that
yeah,
spent a lot of time jumping out of planes.
yeah. Actually, I'd love everybody's prayer for him. His hips are bad, and we you know what it's like to deal with the VA, I imagine.
Mm,
And it takes. You were talking about 1,000 years for something to happen. I think that you were saying that. That's
hmm.
that's how I feel. It's like, oh, come on.
Oh yeah. VA slow. That's something that does need to improve. Um, it needs to
But
improve. But
but I'm grateful because at least out here, I don't know if this is standard protocol, but that's my ignorance. But out here, they work with the universities for their residents and for a lot of the work, which I think is in a lot of ways, it's great because there's such a shortage of providers, especially since COVID.
hmm.
So, but they do work with them and they get access to the latest technology. He gets some things that I can't get through my private, healthcare, some really high end equipment and things like that. So, praise God for that, you know. But yeah, he's bad hips. He broke his ankle,
Mm,
and he's using a walker now for the work we do. I think I mentioned to you last time I work at the U. Um, and
mhm.
so it's hard on him, but he keeps pushing himself.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we
hey,
have
let's
a
make sure
really
we keep him lifted up in prayer.
his name is Richard. So
Richard.
yep,
Okay.
I appreciate it. Again, thank you for all that you do, and I love your beard, by the way,
Oh, thank you.
because that adds to your wise. Tag.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
One last thing I just remembered. You mentioned your email, and I can never find it in the chat. I don't understand how to use it, but I'd like to get some of those things that you offer. So,
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, shoot me an email, askwisetoday@gmail.
Askwise. Okay.
Yep,
Askwise
today @gmail.
All right.
Pretty
All right.
simple.
Thank you, brothers. Thank you,
Alrighty.
family. God bless. Have a great day.
Thank you. You do the same. Thank you, C. Cook.
Okay.
Take care. God bless.
You too. Bye.
All righty. We're going to get ready to get up out of here. But before we do that, I want to go back to Malachi's conversation real fast. And, I want to remind people that we need to look at things in the same way that Paul looked at things when it came to sharing the gospel and the good news. Paul said that his goal is to meet people where they are. He adapts his approach, not compromising the truth of the gospel, but changing his method, language, or tone so people can understand and receive it. And doing that, it's not about being fake, or two-faced, but it's about empathy, strategy, and purpose. So, Paul said that, hey, I'll speak your language, I'll understand your world if it helps you see Jesus. And I just want to remind everybody that, when you're out there, and discipling and things of that nature, and you're out there in the world, don't be so high-minded and don't have your nose all up in the air. Be ready to meet people exactly where they are, to share the good news of Jesus Christ with them. And with that being said, we're going to get up out of here. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys so much for hanging out this morning. And we'll catch up with you all in the morning, man. Lord willing, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning, the panel show, Friday. All right. God bless you guys, man. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all. Peace.
We won't stop. I won't quit. Stand for the truth. No counterfeit. Real ones rise. Let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies. Let the dark